Hi everyone. Welcome to 6 Steps to Be Free. We cannot always believe what our brain thinks. These 6 steps to be free will guide your brain through recognizing its interpretation against what actually happened. Then, we will reframe the thoughts and memories in the brain to adjust for the truths. The brain will store the truthful information instead of the false ones to help you interpret future incidents in a more concise way. This work needs you to write down on a piece of paper or a paper notebook. If you can write whatever that comes up, I stress this. This is the key technique here. Write all that comes up, whether it makes sense or it sounds nonsense, as that's how the brain actually thought. If you can do it without raising your pen or pencil and continuously write it, that would be even more effective. I promise that this video will shake your world. Now, let's take a look at the preview of the 6 steps that we'll be going through in this video.
The 6 steps to be free are: first, start with symptoms. Second, ask your brain as to when the symptoms first started. Third, ask your brain what actually happened. Fourth, what were your feelings? Fifth, how did the brain interpret the situation? Sixth, what are the truths? We will give you approximately 2 minutes for each step. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Are you ready? Let's begin with step 1.
First, let's write down all the symptoms that cause problems for you, such as anything that you feel negative when you think about it, things that cannot excite your happiness, anger over something, frustration over something, the destructive things that repeat over and over, stress over something, anxiety over something, irrational fears, bad habits, no performance in something, any symptoms that you want to know the cause and want to break the symptoms. For example, my symptom is the fear of dogs. Or my symptom could be, I always have $0 in my bank account. Or the symptom could be that I always get angry when somebody cut the line in front of me. Or the symptom could be that I always trip when I see my crush. Then pick one symptom to work at a time. You can always come back and repeat from step 1 to 6 with other symptoms. Now I'll be quiet to give you time to write. Now, this is the end of step 1. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. If you continue now, we'll go through step 2 with you.
Second, when did the symptoms first started? Write them down. Try to think of the first time the symptoms started. Or you can work backwards from the most recent time the symptoms started. Then go back further and further, closest to the first time. Now I will be quiet for you to write. You have been very amazing so far. This is the end of step 2. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. When you're ready, let's continue the video. We'll be with you in step 3.
Third, what actually happened? Write them down without adding any feelings. I stress this. Write facts only here. We try to go through all the 5 senses here. What did my eyes see? Without adding feelings. What did my nose smell? What did my ears hear? What did my mouth taste? What did my skin hand touch? Make the situation as vivid as possible. For example, I see a dog. The dog is big. The dog is brown. I hear it barking. I see the blood coming out of my left hand. I touch the blood. Write them down. In this step, it's important not to raise your pen or pencil. I will be quiet for you to write all the 5 senses here, as possible, of my hands. You have been so awesome. This is the end of step 3. If you need more time, please pause the video. When you're ready, let's continue the video. We'll be with you in step 4.
Fourth, write down your feelings. By going through 5 senses, and also internal feelings. How did my eyes feel? How did my ears feel? How did my mouth feel? How did my nose feel? How did my touch feel? Any feelings inside my body? For example, I feel pain in my arms when it bites me. In this step, it's important not to raise your pen or pencil. I will be quiet for you to write. You have done so amazingly so far. This is the end of step 4. Same here if you need more time. Feel free to just pause the video. And when you're ready, let's continue the video. We'll be with you in step 5.
Fifth, how did my brain interpret what happened? Write down the interpretation the brain gave. From my example, I would write, dogs are dangerous. The dog that barks will bite. I gotta run away when a dog barks as it will bite me. In this step, it's very, very critical not to raise your pen or pencil. I say critical not to raise your pen or pencil. Write everything that comes up, whether that seems to make sense or doesn't seem to make sense. I will be quiet for you to write. You have done a great work so far. This is the end of step 5. If more time is needed in this step, please feel free to pause the video. And when you're ready, let's continue the video. We'll be with you in the final step 6.
6. What are the truths? From my example, the truth is that some dogs that bark will bite, not all. Some dogs bark because they just want to play with you. For Christians, in this step 6, you can reframe your thoughts with God's words, which are absolute truths. For non-Christians, you can also replace the false interpretation of the brain with God's truths as well. Why not write? God's truths are absolute truths. Now your brain has adjusted from its generalization to a more balanced thoughts. Reflecting truths. When you encounter dogs barking next time, you might want to play with the ones that want to play with you, and be more calm for the ones that bark and bite, instead of running away from all the dogs that bark. I will be quiet for you to write. You have done so amazingly so far. This is the end of step 6. If more time is needed in this step, please feel free to pause the video. And when you're ready, let's continue the video to the final thoughts.
Congratulations! You did it! Now I declare you are free. If you have more than one symptoms, you can go back to step 1 and do it until step 6, in the sequential orders. It is wise to recheck your brain and reframe its interpretation to reflect the truths, so it can cope with the future situations in more logical and truthful ways. Declaring the truths over and over, especially God's truths, will strengthen the brain connectivity towards the truth. And thus your brain will use God's truth instead of its false interpretation to perform actions, which will eventually create the positive outcomes rather than the negative ones for your life.
Please do comment your findings. We'll download more of examples for these 6 steps to be free in the next videos. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.